Okay, working a little more in the shop here. Got a bit more time. Working on the side rails. Punching these out. Got my hole pattern in here. Contrary to some of the information I found on the internet, the hole size was wrong, so I ordered the wrong bolts, but that's not a big deal. It's upsize. Most of the spec sheets that I saw said that these would be M5 bolts. But when I got the linear rails here, it's clearly M6, and even the little manual that came with this, these are the beaver rails here. The manual says M6 for the mounting holes, not M5. But the manual also says that this dimension right here from the hole to the end, if you can kind of see that there, is supposed to be 20 millimeters. It's not, it's 10. And the ends are kind of chamfered, so I think what I am going to do, or I don't think this is what I'm going to do, I've set this up here. These are where the two ends are going to join. I've set that up for 18 millimeters instead of 20, 10 mils times 2. And that'll allow me to plane a little bit off the end of these things here, 1 millimeter, true them up, get rid of that little chamfer there so that the linear bearings slide smoothly across that joint. So that's that plan. We'll see how that goes. But I've got these all drilled out, so now it's time to do some tapping. Let's go find a tap and a drill. All right, got all my holes drilled and tapped, got my linear rail here. However, not everything went as planned. So somehow along the line here, I ended up losing 2 mils by the end of my bolt hole pattern, by the time I got down to the end of this rail here. So I am pretty sure what happened was I would drill this like 10 holes at a time and then shuffle it down in the vise here, and then re-pick up one of the holes that I had just drilled and continue on with my pattern using the DRO there. And I noticed when I flipped this thing end for end, I went and picked up one of the existing holes with my center drill, and then I went and turned it and tried it 180, and I noticed this thing was off a little bit. So I think along the way here on a couple of my moves, that center drill didn't true things up quite exactly right. So anyway, lost 2 mils. So what to do? It's only like the last 10 holes, so I could maybe drill those out and give them a little more clearance. But if it was only that would be okay. But that's not the only problem. So great Chinese stuff here. Socket head cap screw. 6 mil. I should have tried it. I just tried it with like a regular bolt and it fit through the hole just fine. But the head doesn't fit the counterbore. So, and I tried a couple different M6 screws that I had here, socket heads, and none of them fit. So this isn't even drilled out, counterbored out to fit the screws that it's supposed to fit. So that kind of sucks. So I would have to go through and either drill out and re-counterbore every single one of the 100 and something holes, or take 100 and something screws, put them in the lathe and trim that head down. I suppose I could do that. That might work. But with everything together here, I'm kind of thinking maybe I'm just going to go to M5 screws and flip this thing upside down and re-drill and tap it on the other side and forget about this. That might be the way to go here. Yeah, I think I might do that. That might make life easier here. Hey, I got 4 sides. I can try it 4 times before I get it right. But this time I think I'm going to use a transfer punch and pick up on holes every now and again on this rail here and make sure I stay on track. Maybe I'll use a different center drill. I'll use a smallish center drill as well. That'll help me. Anyway, that sucks, but well, it's nothing but time, I guess. Let's get back to work. Okay, so this time I'm testing as I'm going. Got my first bolt in there, got it mostly drilled out, working on my last set here. And that hole lines up perfectly there, which you probably can't see down in there, but that's the hole there. So now I just got to finish drilling out this last set here and getting these all done. I did drill and tap some of these here down at this end just to make sure everything worked all right. So looks like we're back on track. Using a different chuck here. This one is a little more accurate. It's in a collet with a solid shank there, and it turns pretty true. So that is great. Let's get back to work. Finish this off.
On the edges, they case harden the edges of the rails, so I burned a regular high-speed steel cutter, so now I'm using a 1-inch carbide. I've got to go down step by step because the sides of the cutters aren't perfectly flat. Okay finish, but then I take it over and do a little grinding just to clean it up. And a little stoning to clean up the burrs on the edges. Just dropping down 25 thou at a time and taking, what was it, half a mil? Something off? Not half a millimeter. Like 0.05 millimeter, I think it was. Oh, 0.1 of a millimeter, that's what it was. That's looking real good. Maybe just a hair under, if anything, which will give me a slight bit of clearance. All right. Might be able to see the hardened edges on each side there. That's what I'm fighting.
All right, I got her. One rail is done here. So I managed to cut and trim these up, get them really, really close. Slides right on through, no problemo. All my holes line up, so that's great. Now, of course, I'll disassemble it and wait for paint. I got to get this welded on the side here, of course, but I wanted to make sure that everything worked first before I did that. And that is just beautiful. Other side to do next. I will mount the one, cut the second, get it mounted on there, make it look like this one. So that's great. That's some major progress there. Getting that crossed off the list. Really happy with that. Like, I can't even feel that joint now. First time I ran over it, there was a little bit of a catch, but I got that like dialed right in now. You can barely feel that there. Maybe I'll run a stone over it a little bit, but it is feeling really good, really good. Okay, let's get going on the next one. So, fighting this a little bit. Not getting a good transition through. That other side is like smooth as butter. And this side has a little bit of a hang up. You can, I don't know if you can kind of see in the light there, but I was stoning across here and I'm not quite hitting right here. And then here it starts hitting. So this is a little bit low, or rather this one here is sitting a little bit high. And so I dug up my micrometer, and it looks like this one is about 4 thou higher. So I think I'm just gonna turn this thing upside down and just try shaving a little bit off of there with some, I don't know, sander or something. Okay, that took a pile of work. Whole bunch of hand fiddling to get that all matched up there. And it's not 100% perfect, but it does slide through okay now. So next step is going to be welding the rails to the sides here. And that is definitely going to be a TIG job, because I don't want to get this thing bent out of shape at all. All right, let's get that thing fired up. Well, I got all excited and got ahead of myself. Went and welded these on, got them all nicely straightened in and looking good. Yeah, except I forgot that I was going to drop this down a bit so that this top lip here forms a bit of a shield from spray and whatnot from the plasma cutter to protect the linear rails that are going on there. So at least I only got one side done, and I didn't even finish off all the welds on the bottom side. So time to cut things apart and do it over again. Life is fun when you're an idiot. Okay, so I've been working away on my pieces. Got a whole bunch of stuff cut out. All deburred, ready for welding up. These are parts for the, what do I call this? These are the side frames that are going to go on the Y-axis and hold up the X gantry. This is a failed attempt of making a cross tube for the X gantry. Stupid hot rolled welded square tubing, rectangular tubing. As soon as I started machining it, it turned into a rainbow here, curved itself up. First I machined this side, and the welded side had all the tensions, so it bowed this way, and I figure, okay, well, maybe once I machine the back side and take off material there, that'll clean things up. Nope, bent the other way. So oh, and it's got a bit of a twist to it now too, so I gave up. I'm just going to grab a chunk of 4x2 aluminum. That'll get my weight down and still give me the strength I need. But would have been cool to have a fun looking piece like that, but oh well. So now I've been working all day on cutting out pieces. So here I am getting ready to TIG weld things and start assembling. So let's fire up the welder and get to work. Well, I worked late last night and very successfully created myself some very artistic scrap metal. These are going in the bin. Fun of prototyping. So the problem was when I welded these brackets onto this plate here, things warped like crazy. You can probably even see that in the video there. Yeah, too much heat input, I guess. And these have to be super flat because these mount to the bearing blocks here, like so. And so that piece of metal has to be super straight and super flat, or else it's going to bind on the rails there. No bueno. So, what to do here? I kind of like the pieces I've built here and put a fair bit of work into those, so I think I might try and cut those off and reuse them because that part's fine. And then this plate, I think I'm going to make that out of 1/4 inch, which is ironically how I designed it in the first place. But for some reason I figured, oh, I got lots of 3/16 here. I'll just grab a piece of that. That'll be fine, trying to save some weight here. And she didn't work out. So anyway, yeah, the fun of prototyping. Do everything twice. All right, let's get to work. Okay, back in business. Remade the parts out of 1/4 inch this time, and I bolted them together with a 30 thou shim in between to kind of pre-stress it in the wrong direction. And now I'll start welding the pieces on here and try this again. Hopefully it works. Well, I got them welded up, and in spite of everything and all my efforts, it's still warped a little bit, just a tiny bit. It's like 10 thou or something like that, which is probably more than I still want. So I got in there and put a little machinist jack in there, and it took like next to no pressure at all to spread that and straighten things out. So the next step here is to weld on this piece, which will hold everything together, and it's so what's going on here is a stepper motor mounts on that thing. There's a shaft that comes through here and catches a bearing down at the bottom. So I need to line that up and then bore that out exactly. So I need to weld this plate on in the right position. So I've got it lined up with that rod there, which I lined up with the mill. So next step is to throw a couple tacks on there, and then I'll pull that out and weld it fully, and then put it back in the mill to machine that out to accept the bearing that's going to go in there. All right. Yeah, sounds good. Let's get to work. Okay, so that worked out perfectly. Took those out, welded them up, popped it back in the vise here, lined it up with my rod here, and everything was like dead straight in line. So very happy about that. So next step, I got to punch this hole out to receive this wee tiny little flanged bearing here. So I got to make a little 16 mil hole. So I'm going to just punch it out slightly larger with a carbide mill I got there, end mill, and then I'll throw the boring bar on there and ream that out to 16 millimeters. All right, let's get to work.
Okay, well, let's not be so ambitious here. Let's do a very small one to start with. Where's my key? Make sure I'm coming on the right side. I am not. Let's go the other direction. That looks big. Okay, so let's set that for 16 mil. Yep. Boy, that's really close. I'm going to take that down a little and sneak up on it. Ah, my bit's too big. Alright, I gotta get something smaller in here. Okay, got a pretty smart idea. Let's try this. That's kind of okay. So this thing is in Imperial, so let's find out what 16 millimeters is. Switch. So about 630. So, does that agree? That's notice bearing. Yeah, 629.5-ish. I'm at 585. Alright, calculator. What did I say, 630? 630 minus 0.5. What did I say? 85? Yeah. Minus 0.55. That's 45 thought to go, so I'm going to give it 20 on the radius. Right size here. So there's 10, 20 on the radius. Let's fire that in there. Made about 626 there. Yeah, I need 3 more thou. So let's do this. 1.5 more. 1.5. Okay, so let's go faster. $630, yes sir. Ooh, it's gonna press in there just perfect. Okay. Oh yeah. I got her jammed in there. I'm not prying with that. There she goes. Alrighty. Let's do that all over again for the second one. Alright, next step. Weld these on. Dang, that's perfect. Alright, one side done. Here's the other one.
Well, I got these things done, got them mounted up onto the linear rails. They slide great. Real happy with them. They're very parallel too. Parallel like top to bottom, that is. So I was off by like, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch or something. So I just gave it like a little push to tweak it and it straightened them right out. So they're running real nice. So that's great, got those. I also managed to get my aluminum for my X gantry here. Started working on this here tonight. Got some holes drilled. Got half my bolt pattern done, and I just need to tap these out yet. But yeah, it looks like it's all going to work out great. So yeah, real happy with that. Unfortunately, I'm out of daylight and need to go home and eat some supper and relax. So that's it for now. I'll pick it up in the morning.